Great stuff. Hold on. Recording, we're started. All right, I must have pressed it. Well, welcome everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us on our Sunday night training. We're excited because we have a very special guest here. You all hopefully have read her amazing bio. So I don't want to talk about her. I'll go through her bio, but I want to tell you in the last 2 weeks that I've gotten to know Deb, I have really felt really connected, and I love what she has to offer in her training. I first saw Deb a couple of months ago. If you guys saw our CEO, Darren Jensen, interviewed Deb, and I was really intrigued. I did go to her ICANN Institute and I looked around. And then Tara Wilson went to her seminar in December, and then she kind of texted a bunch of us and said, you really have to look at Deb, everything that she offers.
Okay, leaving that.
Oh, let's mute yourself as you get on. And you have to really see what she offers. Got a lot of people getting on now. Everyone's getting on last minute here. And she is a business mindset coach, and she works on a lot of neuroscience, works with a lot of neuroscience-based tools, and that's what I love. I did neuroscience tools for about 3 years when I first started, and then I kind of got away from it. And if you saw our email this week in the LifeVantage blog, they talked about binary beats, right? And this is one of the things that Deb does. And I remember I used to listen to Brain Tap for over 3 years. And, and if you don't know what it is, our minds in this business, it's all about controlling our mindset, right? And we talk about mindset all the time so much, right? It's that negative talk that you're trying to quiet down. So one of Deb's tools that I was listening to, on one side of the brain, it's saying all the I can stuff. So I am great, I am worthy, I can do this. And then on the other side was you are worthy, you can, like someone else talking to you. So you had it coming in on waves, but using both sides of the brain. So when I saw that, I was sold. I was like, holy moly, she's amazing. She gets it, how the brain works. So she has been at the top of and plus being, understanding all of this, she's done network marketing. So that's what I love about the two worlds merging, right? Network marketing world, and then the mindset world and the mindset teaching and all of that, putting both of them together. So she knows what we go through. She knows the ups and downs. She knows the roller coaster ride of this business. And that's what she's here to help us with. It's the mindset. It's getting us to shift. So she's been at the top of 2 network marketing companies. And then she decided to take this show on the road, right? This training, this teaching to help all of network marketers, right? To help us all get to where we want to get to. And then she created the ICANN Institute. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Deb, mute myself so we can listen to you and be inspired. And I'm so excited that you're here, and take it away.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to share a short little show tonight with you guys, because I really want you to see very specifically, I want you to understand what's happening when we talk about how important mindset is, right? Here's my greatest frustration is that everybody in the world says mindset is important, right? Mindset is critical. We gotta, have the right mindset, but nobody really tells you how, right? So we tell you what mindset you should have. Never give up, face your fear, do it anyway. Just, if when you fall down, get up and start again. And there's a great definition of what it takes to have a winning mindset. What is a winning mindset? But then that's where we kind of drop the ball. We don't ever say, all right, but if your mindset isn't there, if you grew up with abuse or neglect or doubts or fears or separation or anxiety or anger. I mean, if there was stuff, guys, here's the really critical thing. The first 7 years of your life sets the foundation, right? It creates the autopilot of your brain. And that's where all of that negative chatter comes from. It's that analytical, critical thinking mind, right? That is being fed by your past. Well, here's what's really fascinating, guys. In our industry, that is what is controlling you. It's limiting you. It's sabotaging you. It's stopping you. So I want to show you tonight a little bit about what's happening in your brain, and I want to show you most importantly, what you can do about it. So I want to talk about releasing fear, because part of the problem is that your brain believes, here we go. Your brain believes that building your business is a threat. Let me back it up and kind of explain really what I'm talking about here, guys. Is that let me just show you. There's a fear center of the brain. It actually, take your hand and stick and grab your hair by the scruff of the neck and pull yourself back, right? This is what the fear center is doing. The amygdala, when it fires off, it releases chemicals, and it's like it grabs you by the scruff of the neck and pulls you back. What it's saying basically is don't move forward. What you are about to do is a threat. It will hurt you emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. And so here's what's really interesting is that this threat center could be activated by something as simple as a look or a thought, right? Or a no, or somebody cancels. They cancel an appointment. They cancel an order. So when the threat center goes off, you respond in one of three ways: fight, flight, freeze. In general, this is really important, guys. The most powerful response is, of course, fight. That means we lean into the fear. And more men do this than women. There are a very small number of women, probably less than 1% of the women are naturally wired towards leaning in, or they've learned it. They learned it in athletics, or they grew up with all brothers. And so they were socialized to lean in. But most women, either flight, that means they run away, or the most common response is freeze. Now, what's interesting here, if you're a guy on the phone tonight, then you need to know that the women on your team are literally wired. The masses of them are wired to run and hide when the fear center is triggered, right? Run and hide. And if that's true for you, right? If the women on your team are more wired to run and hide, here's the really fascinating thing. No matter how much you get in their face, come on, you could do it. I believe in you. We do all this belief building, whether we do it nice, right? Or we're in somebody's face. Here's the problem. It doesn't really matter because they're wired to run and hide. So what we have to do is break the wiring. We can't just pressure or cheerlead or shame somebody into action, guys. It doesn't work. The flip side of that, okay, is women. I want you to understand the difference between these two. Women, if we are wired to run and hide, but the most powerful response is to fight, do we have to learn how to be a guy to be in this business? And so the answer is no. Right? No, it is true that the best thing you can do in the moment when fear shows up, right, is to lean into it, to move past it. But if you're not wired to do that, then pressuring yourself to do it only causes you to feel like more of a failure. So what we want to do, using what we know in neuroscience, is we want to silence the fear center, right? Shh, put it back to sleep so that we can move with ease and grace and boldness. I'm going to show you a little bit more of what it is that could be hooking you in your business. This is perhaps one of the biggest issues we all face, men and women, okay? So here's the first thing, is that your brain has it wired up. What's a threat? So it could be from your childhood that getting a no was a threat, right? Asking for something and having your parents shame you, or maybe you had a lot of joy and a lot of enthusiasm, and you had a alcoholic parent, right, that was constantly telling you to be quiet and go sit down, and little girls should be seen and not heard, and little boys can't have emotion. And so here's the key: we have all this programming early, but it's not just our programming about life is, people are, I am. It's not just those universal core beliefs. It's also this. Your set point. Now, your set point is kind of this, guys. It's your brain in a box. In other words, every single human being on the planet comes in, and as we show up on the planet, there's something really interesting that happens is our brain kind of says, this is the boundary of what you can achieve, of what's safe for you. It's safe if you stay inside. It's not safe if you go outside. So if you recruit somebody onto your team with a huge box, right, a huge boundary, then guess what? They will grow quickly and easily. There'll be speed and effortlessness, and everybody will look at them and go, wow, look at that. And some people will misinterpret that growth and say, oh, they're disciplined. They know what they're doing. I'm going to follow them. I'm going to just do what they do. But your problem isn't doing what they do. It's thinking what they think and having the same set point. See, you will recruit other people onto your team that have tiny little set points. In other words, this set point is the place that your brain says, this part is safe. If I stay inside this box, think of it as like a cave. If I stay inside the cave, I'm safe. If I go outside, there could be tigers, right? And so the outside is unknown. The inside is secure, safe, secure. Now, your brain will do anything to keep you safe and secure, even sabotage your success. So here's what happens. As we set a goal, I want to rank advance, right? So then we begin to move towards that goal. And as long as the energy, the activity is inside your box, you will grow easily and effortlessly, quickly. It would be like if I said to you, see that cup over there? I want you to go pick it up. And inside that cup is $100. And you'd be like, whoa. All right, you just walk over and pick up that $100. But what if I told you that there were alligators in the pit and you were being blindfolded and you had to walk across a plank to get that $100? You might say, well, wait a minute. There's a lot of risk there for just $100. And that's what your brain is doing. Your brain is saying, okay, this would be really nice, but going across this, I'm going to activate all the fear and the unknown. And yeah, maybe I'll get a bonus and maybe there's an incentive trip, but you guys get the energy here. This is like a big threat. So here's what most people do. They brave the threat and they cross over using willpower and discipline and force. And those are all aspects of the conscious mind. The conscious mind is only about 5% of the power. And so while you are focused, you can force this energy to happen and achieve this rank advancement. But the next morning, what happens is the brain wakes up and goes, whoa, I am so far out of my comfort zone, right? Look where I am. I'm out here in no man's land. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know if I could keep it. Can I really repeat it? And so what the brain wants to always do, hear me, this is universal, guys. The brain wants to run back to the comfort of the known. So our job is to, number one, change the definition here of the unknown. And then number two, as we stretch the comfort zone, there is a bigger and bigger and bigger place that we can play. And those binaural recordings are part of what we do with that. And when we achieve this rank advancement, what we really want to do is continue to stretch the comfort zone so that it's as if your comfort zone, right, kind of just engulfs your goals. So we're never fighting them. It's not something we have to retreat from. We achieve this and then we move to the next because we just keep expanding. You guys got it? All right, but let's take it a step further. Your fear is controlling your self-talk. Now, here's what I want you guys to know. The guys on the call, I want you to know that you probably don't have the same level of self-doubt and self-judgment and critical voices as women. Women are culturally programmed for it at much higher levels than guys. But guys, you have women on your team who are doing this to themselves. So here's how this works, guys. We have a core belief. That core belief generates a thought. Those thoughts generate emotions. Those emotions push us into action or away from action. And then those actions create business results. So it goes like this, right? If you have a core belief that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I don't have enough contacts, I don't have enough money, I'm not enough. Not enough is your core belief. And this comes from childhood. You probably this was created for you by the time you were 7. The thought you will probably think is, I can't do it. I just can't do it, right? It's not possible for me. Would everybody mute themselves just so we make sure we don't have any feedback? Thank you, guys. And then the emotions that come from that is doubt. This is where self-doubt comes in. And self-doubt can be small, like it can be that nagging thing, or it can be debilitating, both ways. Now, not only does doubt, right, that emotional, create that emotion, but it also generally tends to stop you from moving forward. In fact, guys, a lot of research now says that if doubt shows up in your mind, you probably have 5 seconds to move past hesitation, because if doubt turns into hesitation, it's done, right? It's done. It's almost impossible to move past it. So when doubt shows up, man, we have to have tools that we can go, oh, that's doubt. Let me move past it, right? I'm going to stop the doubt and I'm going to turn, I'm going to pivot and move this direction. And you got to be able to do that on a dime. If you stop your action, guess what? You are probably going to fail at your business goals. So the action is not going to get good. So what most people do, right? They go to seminar, go to convention, and they get all worked up, and somebody walks across the stage and they go, this was my mindset and this is what I did and you could do it too. And they're trying really hard to give you the belief. They're trying hard to give you the core belief. But I just want to be really clear, guys, that typically what we do, we don't know how to change this core belief. So what we do is we go home and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the action. So notice we go in the wrong direction here, right? We're going against the flow. And we say, you know what? If I want to grow twice as fast as I'm growing now, I got to do 2 times the action. But here's the problem. If you take this action with doubt, believing that you can't, thinking you are not enough, guess what? You're not going to get the same results as that person on stage that walked across that said, you can do it. See, that person, guy or girl, she believed, absolutely believed this. She believed, I am enough. I am enough. And when she really core believed that, then guess what? It changed her language. Now her thoughts are, I can do this. I got this. And then that inspires confidence, and confidence inspires the energy to go. And when you move, right, when you move and you get going, you activate the motivation center of the brain, and bam, ultimately you are successful. So you guys get this. We can't afford to go backwards. We can't afford to go try to just push our way through action with a bad core belief, guys. You can't do it. It'll exhaust you. Before you know it, you will say to yourself, this is too hard. I just can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted. If you've ever said to yourself, I'm exhausted, you know why? Because you're pushing against the flow here. You're trying to force something to happen with the wrong emotion, the wrong thoughts, and the wrong core beliefs. So what are we going to do about it, guys? Well, here's the thing. You got to become the brain of boss of your own brain, right? You got to become the boss. And in order to become the boss of your brain, here's what it means. You must be able to stop the fear center when it is triggered. You got to be able to stop the energy that's coming. And then we have to activate the motivation center, the go center of the brain, right? So when we activate the motivation center and you're able to stop, right, the negative chatter and the fear and the doubt and all that comes up, everything changes in the way you do your business. So let's talk about something that's really critical here, because I want to just show you a couple more slides before I move to something else. So here's what it is. Your conscious mind is only 3, some people say 5, 3 to 5% of the power is where your conscious mind is. That's the motivation center of the brain. So when you go to convention and you say, let's get motivated, it's like, good. 3% of the time, the energy, 3% of the power is the motivation center. When we're talking about the fear center of the brain, that lives in your autopilot or your subconscious mind, and that is 97. 95 to 97% of the power, which simply means this, okay? When you motivate someone, they'll hold on to it for 3% of the time, and then they'll lose it. And 97% of the time, guess what? Right? They can't sustain something that is not a part of their core belief. You guys getting that? Hey, Rosie, if you are available, would you just mute yourself real quick?
Trying to find her and I can't on here for some reason.
Okay. All right.
Mute all again, and then Deb, unmute yourself. There you go. Okay, you're unmuted. Good.
All right. So wait a minute. I got to go back here. Hold on a second. So guys, here's the thing. Bottom line, without the neurotools, okay, without neurotools, what you have to try to do is reprogram this part of the mind. And it's almost impossible to reprogram your subconscious mind without some kind of neurotools. So positive thinking isn't going to cut it, right? Alone, it's a wonderful thing, but by itself, it can only help in the moment because it's helping when your conscious mind is in charge. But you can see when your conscious mind isn't focused, and by the way, you lose focus every 8 to 10 seconds. So your conscious mind is tough to manage. What we want to do is change the autopilot so that you are believing in your worthiness and your abilities and all of that from a core energy. All right, so let me show you this. When you let your brain go on autopilot, so run by the subconscious mind, you have practice patterns, okay? Women tend to think 85,000 thoughts a day. Men, 65,000 thoughts a day. It doesn't mean we're smarter. I know we'd like to think so, but what it really does mean is that our thoughts run in quick succession, right? Thought, 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 thought. And men have gaps between the thoughts, right? Gaps. So when you're looking at your honey and he's got that faraway look and you go, baby, what you thinking? And he goes, nothing. He's telling you the truth. He's in the gap. Well, I got to tell you that the gap is really powerful because in the gap, there's no thought, there's no feeling, there's nothing there. So what happens is guys can switch on a dime. They can have a thought like, oh man, I can't believe she said no. Right? I can't believe that I made this fabulous presentation, invited her to join the team, and she said no. You know, and he's like, And then 2 seconds later, he's like, I'm hungry. I think I'll go get a sandwich. So he can pivot. But women, because our thoughts back up against each other, we don't pivot without a tool. So what we do is we escalate. So we say, oh, she said no. I can't believe she said no after I made that incredible presentation. And then the next thought comes really quickly and it's bigger, right? Well, if she says no, why should I ever bother to invite anybody again? Because everybody's just going to say no because nobody really likes me. Nobody wants to play with me and I can't find anybody. And blah, I don't know why I have this goal because it's never going to work for me. And we just escalate out of control where guys, they can have a break. But here's what's really important about whichever number of thoughts you have. Here's what's really important, guys. 80% of the thoughts that you think every single day are repetitive, men and women both. We repeat the same thoughts. And of those repetitive thoughts, 95% of them are negative. That means if you're a woman, you are likely to think about 60,000 negative thoughts a day. So guess what, guys? Positive thinking, not going to cut it because there's so few positive thoughts. The vast majority of our thoughts are negative and they're repetitive and they just come back and back and back and back, which is why we got to have neuro tools to shift, right? To release the old patterns, silence the fear, and change the language. We start with a core belief and then we move around the cycle. So we are literally changing the way you talk to yourself, the way you think. Instead of masking it, we're changing it. All right, I want to show you something really important and then I'm going to stop my show for tonight. So here's the thing. Your brain has an autopilot, right? And that autopilot works very hard to control and protect current patterns. So I'm going to help you play with this a little bit. I want you to close your eyes. If you're not driving, close your eyes and answer this quick question, okay? How many sides does a stop sign have? 8. Yes. And what are the colors? Red and white. Excellent. And if you open your eyes, you can see it. Okay. Close your eyes again. Now what I want you to do is keep driving down the road in your imagination. Come up to a yield sign. How many sides does a yield sign have? 3. Correct. And what are the colors? Now open your eyes. If you said yellow and black, here's my entire point. This is why I played the game with you. All of the yellow and black signs that were original, the original yield signs, were pulled off the road by the highway department more than 30 years ago now. 30 years ago, they pulled all of the yellow and black. And yet, when I asked you a question, if you're like the average person in America, you still say yellow and black. You know why? Because your first image, right? It was yellow and black. You had a yellow and black image in your mind, and your brain does not let go of the first image it has. Now, here's the really cool thing. Now that you've seen red and white, the next time you go by a yield sign, you'll look at it and go, wow, look at that. It really is red and white. And you'll be looking for the yellow and black, but they're not out there anymore. Even though your brain sees it, even though reality says you haven't seen that in 30 years. So why am I telling you this? Here, it's simple. Because you have a belief about yourself. You have a belief about what you think you can or cannot do. And your brain is holding on to that, just like the yellow and black yield sign. Your brain is holding on to it. And your brain believes there is a limit to what you can achieve in our industry. And you know what? It's a lie. It's nothing more than old programming. All right, so that's why we're going to do what we're going to do. So here's what we're going to do, and I'm going to basically show you. Maria's team is doing this. If you go up to my website, icaninstitute.com. Okay, let me just show you. There it is, icaninstitute.com. There's an old picture of me there. I want you to come to where it says classes. And go down to I Can Start. I am running a brand new I Can Start class, and we are beginning this week. The I Can Start class does this. It helps you pick a new goal. So we're going to launch your 2020 goals. Pick new goals, right? And then what we're going to do is create some momentum so you can grow your business by, and this is the big thing, guys, helping you get started confidently. Now, the reason I tell everybody who comes to me, they always say, where should I start? And I said, take I Can Start. And I want to show you why. I'll let you go through this. I'm not going to show you every single thing, but I want you to see what's in the class. Here's what's so important. Yes, we're going to create effective goals. But this is the important part, guys. These are the tools, and we do one lesson per week, but these are the tools that you need to execute on these goals. Did you guys know that more than 94% of people who start goals fail and give up on their goals in the first 2 weeks? 94%. 94% of the people who jump in and get started on something, they get all worked up and get started, they don't make it past 2 weeks. So here's what I designed this class for, is you're going to create the goals, and then every single week, I'm going to walk you through the exact challenges that you're going to face when your brain says, whoa, 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 she's serious. She really is going to grow outside her comfort zone. Oh no, man, she's going to challenge her fears. She's going to face rejection. She's going to stretch. And so when your brain freaks out and tries to sabotage, every single week, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening here. How do you identify self-sabotage, know why it's happening over and over and over and over again, and I'm going to give you the neuro tools to stop self-sabotage, right? I'm going to help you create laser focus. I'm going to help you create momentum. We're going to expand your set point, right? We are going to face fear and be able to silence it so it never stops you again. You guys get it? So every single week, you'll have a lesson. And the lessons are always divided into 2 parts, guys. Lessons are divided into 2 parts. The first part gives you the content, teaches you the neuroscience behind it, and then we apply it to the business. No good to just have the neuroscience by itself, right? We got to apply it to the business. I'll show you. Here's how this is stopping you, and this is the tool you can use to free yourself. So every week you'll have two pieces of the lesson, and they're each about 20, 25 minutes. The first one is the neuroscience and how it applies to the business. And then the second one is, all right, now, how can you apply this knowledge to growing your business this week? What are we going to do this week? So there's a challenge every week. There are neuro tools every week. There is also what we call Monday mindset coaching. So every week on Monday, I show up live. I get on the call live, and I'm like, okay, who's got a question? What do you want to talk about? What's homework? It's kind of throwing you for a loop. Where are you struggling? Now, I got to tell you that every week I also talk for a little bit. And tomorrow morning, here's what I'm talking about. And I base this on what people send me and where I know we are in the classes. So the questions that people have been sending is, why is it that I don't really feel worthy? Or when we talk about deservability, it hooks me every single time. Worthy of great success, worthy of rank advancing, worthy of having lots of money. Why is it it's a dream, but I don't really feel valued or worthy? Or when we talk about deserve, I deserve this, it kind of hooks me, right? So I'm going to talk about that first thing tomorrow morning because it applies to your goals. Did you guys know that your brain, the minute you set a goal, your brain goes to work to help sabotage? So what's either happened is you've set too big a goal, too small a goal that has no vision, no passion. If there are those of you who say, I don't know what my why is, that's connected to your what, your goal. And so guys, we're going to cover all of this stuff. What is it that truly motivates you? What is it? How can you find the passion in your why? How can you stop your brain from lying to you and doing all of that negative stuff, right? That's what we're going to be doing, is we are going to focus on all of those pieces. So those of you who decide you want to come and play, let me just be really clear because I know we're out of time. I got to quit. But let me just tell you this, guys. If you want to come and play, I know that we're going to send them a link, right? We're going to send them a link so they have that. Let me just tell you this. Those of you, get yourself signed up tonight. You'll be on the call with us tomorrow. You'll be on the live coaching call tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, Maria and I are going to run a class together to launch our team, right? To get you guys started, to get everybody excited, to answer all your questions, to deal with whatever issues are coming up for you as we march into 2020 with the tools that you need to keep your mindset straight. All right, I talked as fast as I could, Maria.
Thank you. I love it. I am so excited for this week. This class just sounds amazing. I love it. One thing I learned today is my husband always says that to me. I'm like, what are you thinking? He's like, nothing. And he actually read me a study. He said, men don't, when we say we're not thinking, we are not thinking. So Deb, you're right on. I don't even doubt him anymore when I said, what are you thinking? He's like, nothing. I'm like, okay, I know you're thinking of nothing. I can't do that though. I'm super excited. So anyone on my team, you've got it, an email already. You've got the information. If you didn't get it, don't have it, and you want it, I can send it to you again. Anyone that is not on my team on this, go back to your elite distributor. They were all kind of told about this. And if they're not doing the program and you want to be part of it, I can send you the information. Just make sure I don't want to step on anybody's toes on any other team that's here. But I think this is going to be amazing. I am so excited of where we're going and how this is going to help. My dream is to see all of you hit your 2020 goals, right? Where you want to be, where do you want to rank to, right? That is my dream and my goal. And that is why I've partnered with Deb, because I really believe what she has can be that tool to help us believe in ourselves, right? So let's all get to where we want to get in 2020. I love you all. Thank you for being on here. Any questions at all, text me, call me, anything I can help you with. Thank you so much, Deb, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.